ಸಂಸಾರದಾವಾನಲನಿದಲೋಕ ತ್ರಣಯ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಗಣ ಗಣತ್ವಂ
ಸಂಸಾರದಾವಾನಲನಿದಲೋಕ ತ್ರಣಯ ಕಾರುಣ್ಯ ಗಣ ಗಣತ್ವಂ
ಪ್ರಪತ್ಸ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಗುಣರ್ನವಸ್ಯ ವಂದೇ ಗುರೋ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ಮಹಾಪ್ರಭೋ ಕೀರ್ತನ ನೃತ್ಯ ಗೀತ ವದಿತ್ರಮಾದ್ಯಾನ್ ಮನಸೋರಸೇನ
ಮಹಾಪ್ರಭು ಕೀರ್ತನ ನಿತ ಗೀತ ವದಿತ್ರಮಾದ್ಯಾನ್ ಮನಸೋರಸೇನ
ರೋಮಾಂಚಕಾಂಪಶ್ರುತರಂಗಬಾಜೋ ವಂದೇ ಗುರೋ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ರೋಮಾಂಚಕಾಂಪಶ್ರುತರಂಗಬಾಜೋ ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ಶ್ರೀವಿಗ್ರಹಾರಾಧನ ನಿತ್ಯನಾನ ಶೃಂಗಾರತನ ಮಂದಿರಮರ್ಜನಾದ
ಶಿವಿಗ್ರಹಾರಾಧನ ನಿತ್ಯನಾನ ಶೃಂಗಾರತನ ಮಂದಿರಮರ್ಜನಾದ
ಯುಕ್ತಶ್ಚ ಭಕ್ತಂ ಶನಿಯುಂಜತೋಪಿ ವಂದೇ ಗುರೋ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ ಚತುರ್ವಿಧಾ ಶ್ರೀ ಭಗವತ್ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಸ್ವದನ್ನ ತೃಪ್ತಾನ್ ಹರಿಭಕ್ತ ಸಂಗಾನ್
ಚತುರ್ವಿಧ ಶ್ರೀ ಭಗವತ್ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಸ್ವದನ್ನ ತೃಪ್ತಾನ್ ಹರಿಭಕ್ತ ಸಂಗಾನ್
ಕೃತ್ವೈವ ತೃಪ್ತಿಂ ಭಜತ ಸದೈವ ವಂದೇ ಗುರೋ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ಕೃತ್ವೈವ ತೃಪ್ತಿಂ ಭಜತ ಸದೈವ ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ಶ್ರೀರಾಧಿಕಾ ಮಾಧವಯೋರಪಾರ ಮಾಧುರ್ಯಲೀಲಾ ಗುಣರೂಪನಾಮ್ನಾಂ
ಶ್ರೀರಾಧಿಕಾ ಮಾಧವಯೋರಪಾರ ಮಾಧುರ್ಯಲೀಲಾ ಗುಣರೂಪನಾಮ್ನಾಂ
ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ಷಣಾ ಸ್ವಾಧನಲೋಲುಪಾಸ್ಯ ವಂದೇ ಗುರೋ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಾಧನಲೋಪಾಸ ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ವಂದೇ ಗುರೋ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ ವಂದೇ ಗುರೋ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ನಿಕುಂಜಯೋ ನೋ ರತಿಕೇಲಿ ಸಿದ್ಧ್ಯಾಯ ಯಾಯಾಲಿಭಿರ್ಯುಕ್ತಿರಪೇಕ್ಷಣೀಯ
ನಿಕುಂಜಯೋ ನೋ ರತಿಕೇಲಿಸಿದ ಯಾಯಾಲಿಭಿರ್ಯುಕ್ತಿರಪೇಕ್ಷಣೀಯ
ತತ್ರ ತ್ರಿದಾಕ್ಷಾದತಿವಲ್ಲಭಸ್ಯ ವಂದೇ ಗುರೋ ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ತಾತ್ರ ತ್ರಿದಾಕ್ಷಾದತಿವಲ್ಲಭಸ್ಯ ವಂದೇ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀಚರಣರವಿಂದಂ
ಸಾಕ್ಷಾದರಿತ್ವೇನ ಸಮಸ್ತಶಾಸ್ತ್ರೇ ಉಕ್ತಸ್ತಥಾ ಭಾವ್ಯತ ಏವ ಶಬ್ದಿಃ
ಸತ್ಯದವೇನ ಸಮಸ್ತಶಾಸ್ತ್ರೇ ಉಕ್ತಸ್ತಥಾ ಭಾವ್ಯತ ಏವ ಶಬ್ದಿಃ
किन्तु प्रभोर्य प्रिय एव तस्य Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam.
Into Prabodhaya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam.
Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Yasya prasadan nagati kutopi.
Yasha prasada bhagavat prasada. Yasha prasada nagati kutopi.
Dhyayansu vamsasya yasya sri sandhyam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam.
Dhyayansu vamsasya yasya sri sandhyam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam.
Dhyayansu vamstasya yasya sri sandhyam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam.
Dhyayansu vamsasya yasya sri sandhyam. Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine.
Nama
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pasyasya Desatarine.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyasya Desatarine.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Krishna
Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna
Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe.
Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe.
Jayo Jagannatha Jayo Jagannatha Jayo Baladeva Jayo Subhadra Mai.
Jagannatha
जयो सीताराम 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 जयो लक्ष्मण हनुमान
जय सीताराम 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 जय लक्ष्मण हनुमान
जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह
जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह
नित गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित गौर हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रव्राजकाचार्य स्तुतर सरशिशिमारिस्कन प्रतिष्ठा विभूति संस्थापकाचार्य वैष्णव शिरोमणि गौर प्रियजन कृष्ण प्रेम भक्ति रत पतित पावन His Divine Grace अभयचरविना भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद जी की जय। श्री गौरी गुरु वर्गपति उद्धार की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भक्त रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भक्त दास गुण सदगोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर जी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासारि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। परम दयाल श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। जय प्रेम नाम संकीर्तन एक जनक प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम श्री सच्चिनंदन श्रीमन गौरंग श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु गौर हरि महावरनय अवतार की जय। गोलोकेर प्रमधान हरि नाम संकीर्तन जय की जय। जुग धर्म हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। गृहदांग ट्रांसलेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेवा की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप नाराधा कुंद श्याम कुंज गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। श्री ब्रज भूमि वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। तेलोशिव श्री श्री नीलमाधव की जय। श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप एक चक्र धाम की जय। परम करुणा श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। श्री पुरुषोत्तम चित्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी बलदेव प्रभु श्रीमती सुभद्रा देवी सुदर्शन चक्र भगवान की जय। भक्ति सर्व विघ्न विनाशन कनिष्ठदेव भगवान की जय। जय गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय। तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। बोलो श्री मथुरा धारानी की समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रमानंदे। All glories to the assembly bodies. All glories to the assembly bodies. All glories to the assembly bodies. All glories, all glories. Glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gaura.
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय
प्रह्लादलाददायिने
प्रह्लादलाददायिने
हिरण्यकाशिपूर्वक्षः
हिरण्यकशिपुवक्षः
शिलटङ्कानखालाये
शिलतङ्कानकालये
इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
ईतो निसिंह परतो निसिंह
यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहो
जय जत जत जामि ततो निसिंह
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
निसिंह हृदये निसिंह
नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे
नरसिंह
केशवद्रुता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
अवकर कमलवरे नाका
अद्भुत श्रृंगार
ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनबिंगा
केशवद्रुता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे केशवद्रुता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवद्रुता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय
जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज भक्त प्रहलाद भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज भक्त प्रहलाद भक्त प्रहलाद भक्त प्रहलाद भक्त प्रहलाद जय भक्त प्रहलाद निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि
बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपा 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 जय जय प्रभुपा
जय जय
प्रभुपा 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 जय जय प्रभुपा जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव
जय जय गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह स्वामी भगवान की जय
जय श्री वृंदई तुलसी बाई प्रिय के सब सत्य विष्णु भक्ति प्रारिवे सत्यवताय नमः वृंदई तुलसी बाई प्रिय के सब सत्य विष्णु भक्ति प्रारिवे सत्यवताय नमः वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रिय के सब सत्य कृष्ण भक्ति प्रारिवे सत्यवताय नमः श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की
ना तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः
तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः
राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो ये अभिलाषी
राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो अभिलाषी
राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो ये अभिलाषी
राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो अभिलाषी
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः
तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः
ये तुम्हार शरण लोय तारा वांछ पूर्ण होय
ये तुम्हारा शरणाला तारा वांछ
पूर्ण होय कृपा करी करो तारे वृंदावन वासी
कृपा करी करतारे
वृंदावन वासी मोरा ये अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास विलास कुंज दियो वास नायने हेरी बो सदा जुगल रूप रासी सदा जुगल रूप रासी ये निवेदन दारो साकीरानुगाता करो साकीरानुगाता करो सेवयाधिकारा दिए करो निज दासे करो निज दासे दीना कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा होए
कृष्ण दास को नमरा
दीना कृष्ण दासे को ये न मोरा होए
कृष्ण दास को नमरा
श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये न भासे
श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेम सदा भासे
श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये न भासे
श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेम सदा भासे
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः
तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः
यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपादपदे तानि कानि च पापानि पदे यानि कानि चापापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपादे पदे ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपादे पदे यानि कानि चापापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपादे पदे तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणपादे पदे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
जय वृंदादेवी जय वृंदादेवी जय वृंदादेवी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी वृंदादेवी की जय।
श्री वृंदाई तुलसी देवाय प्रिय के सब सत्य विष्णु भक्ति प्रादे देवे सत्य बताए नमो नमः। वृंदाई तुलसी देवाय प्रिय के सब सत्य विष्णु भक्ति प्रादे देवे सत्य बताए नमो नमः। वृंदायै तुलसी देवाय प्रिय के सब सत्य कृष्ण भक्ति प्रादे देवे सत्य बताए नमो नमः। जय श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। Tulasi, beloved Krishna, I bow before you again and again. My desire to obtain the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you, his wish is fulfilled. Bestow your mercy upon him, you make him resident of Vrindavan. My desire is that you also grant me a residence of the prophets of Sri Vrindavan. Thus, within my vision, I will always behold the beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower, carry damsels of Raj. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maid servant. This very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna praise. May I always see me love Shri Radha and Govinda. Shri Mati Tulasi Maharani Brindadevi Ki Jai. So now let's consider the 10 offenses against the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and it should be avoided. They are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who dedicate their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider names of demigods, the Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to be equal to or independent of the name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance of Vedic version. 5. 5. To consider the glory of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. 9. To instruct the fearless person about the glories of the holy name. And 10. To not have complete faith in chanting the holy names and to maintain material attachments, even for understanding so many instructions on this matter. It also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas, devoted to the Lord. They are just our desire trees. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. Jevancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyaivacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha jayananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sikhyastakam ki jai. Chaito darpanama janam bhavamada vagni nirvapanam Shreyakari vachandrika vitaranam Vidya vadu jivanam Anandam Budivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnam Param Param Vijayati Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Vaudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Shmarane Nakala Ita Drushitava Kripaya Bhagavan Mamapi Durdhaivam Idrishamya Janina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadari Na Dhanam Na Janam Na Sundarim Kavitam Vajagadishaka Maye Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhavatar Bhakti Rahituki Tvai Ainandatanu Karam Patitamam Vrishame Bhavam Budho Kripaya Tavapada Pankaja Stita Dhuli Sadrisham Vichintaya Nayanam Galora Shrudharaya Vadanam Gadagadharudhaya Gira Pulakarinchitam Vapukada Tavanam Agrahane Bhavisyati Jugaitam Nimishena Chakusha Prarusa Itam Sunya Itam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahe Name Aslishava Padaratam Pinashtumam Adarshanar Marmahatam Karotuva Jatha Tathava Vidadhatu Lampato Matpranatastu Saivana Paraha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sikhyastakam ki jai. Namo Mahavaranayo Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnayo Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachatyarisatarine. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years, and extinguishes the fire of conditioned life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because its praise raised the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we're always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by holy names. But I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself a lord on a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer respect to others. In such state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotion service birth to birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen in this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And will the hairs of my body stand on the end of the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and it shall remain so, even if he sandals me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ji Kastakam Ki Jai. Shri Guru Pranam Mangala Charan Ki Jai. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakchurumilitam Jena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Sri Jotapara Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunata Vintam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamcha Nama Om Vishnu Padayo Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shumate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Patsatyarisatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padayo Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhana Videvi Deitaya Kripabdvaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhujjala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravane Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Posidanta Dvantaharine Namagora Kishoraya Sakcha Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambhode Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchit Ananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumitsvam Nirdesha Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhuma Sri Jagannathayate Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranayo Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnayo Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvise Namah. Panchatattvamakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataro Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Suratupangor Mama Mandamatir Gati Masarvasva Parambhujo Radha Madana Mohanam Divya Vindaranya Kalpadumadha Shmara Nagara Shingasanastu Shma Radha Shila Govinda Devo Pristali Bhishiva Manushmarami Shman Rasara Sarambhi Vamshvata Tatastita Karshan Venu Swanar Gopir Gopinata Shriyestuna Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrusabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Guru Vrindan ki Jai. Nitai Gauri Pramanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare So there's a very nice verse in the second chapter, 72nd verse of Bhagavad Gita. Viha kamam yasarvam pulam charatis nirmama yahankara sasmatim adhigach. So, what does this say?
Thank you.
It says, a person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from material desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. So, this is very similar to the verse, Bhuktaram Yekatavasam Sarvaloka Suridam Sarvabhutana Yatpamo Santamichat. It was the last chapter of the last verse of the 15th chapter, fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So both of these verses are related because it's talking about shanti, peace. Especially as brahmacharis, unless you have a peaceful mind, it's going to be very difficult to maintain brahmacharya. And what is it that disturbs a peaceful mind? It's usually desire for sense gratification. And there's all different types of sense gratification. But the main point is we did not come to this world to eat meat. We did not come to this world to gamble. We did not come to this world to take intoxication. We came to this world for sex. That's what attracted us to the material world. We are what's called marginal energy. That means the jivas are living on the margin of Vaikuntha. Therefore, it if they want to, they can see the material world from there. And that's why we call it marginal energy of the Lord. But right on the line where there's a separation from the material world and spiritual. So it is possible, if you're not attentive, to look at the material world and become attracted by something, and then become dissatisfied with being in the spiritual world and yearning to enjoy independently of Krishna. That's when we fall down. We were all originally with Krishna. If we were not originally with Krishna, Krishna wouldn't spend the time and energy to bring us back to God. It's because that's where we came from. And therefore, Krishna wants us to come back more than we want to come back. And the one thing that will stop you from going back to God is sex life. Now, Krishna doesn't say he's against all sex life. Dharma viruddha bhutes, kamosmi varadarsana. He said it in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And I am sex life according to the principles of religion. And this is scientific. Everything about Krishna and the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is scientific. And what does that mean? It means that it is fact. It's true in the past, it's true in the present, it's true in the future. It's true in the material world, and it's true in the spiritual world. So that's fact. And the fact is that as soon, like an example of the young boy, Ajamil, when he was 16, he was trained up to 16 years old to be a pujari. And he was very, very strict about spiritual. But one day in the forest, he saw two very low-class people, man and woman, drunk. In other words, they were taking intoxication, and they were engaging in sex. And when he saw that, something happened in his mind, and he became attracted to that. And from that point on, he gave up being a pujari, following the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness, and took up a life like that way, lying, cheating, and he married a prostitute, and he had 10 kids. He said no, he chanted the name of Narayana at the moment of death. He said, no, that doesn't, you're Narayana, he was calling his son. He said, it doesn't matter, because the name of the Lord is absolute. And ever since he had his son might have been around 10 years old at that time. Every day he was saying, Narayana, come here. Narayana, where are you? Narayana, do your homework. Narayana, this, Narayana, that. So he was saying the name of Narayana many, many times. And he said it at the moment of death. So he got what's called a second chance. He didn't go back to Godhead. He got a second chance to finish Krishna consciousness. So after seeing what happened, he saw the Yamadutas ready to take him, and he was very scared. And then he saw the Vishnudutas stop him. And that wasn't all. The Yamadutas said, look, we've never heard this before. Just by saying the name of Narayana at the moment of death, he's exonerated of all his sins. We never heard this before. So we have to go back and ask our Gurudev if this is true or not. See, even though they're ferocious Yamadutas, but still they respect the Gurudev. So they went back and they asked the Yamaraj, they said, look, tell us something about this. The Yamadutas, the Vishnudutas stopped us from taking this Ajamil, who was a big sinner. They say, because he said Narayan at the moment of death, even though he was calling his son, he wasn't calling Narayan. And they said he was purified of his sins. I mean, we've never heard this before. Is this true? And Mark said, yes, it's true. He said, the power of the holy name is absolute. Everything about Krishna is absolute. His name, his activities, desires, everything is absolute. And if he said the name of Narayana, even though he didn't mean the son of Narayana, but still he was purified. So then the Yamadutas didn't argue anymore, and then Arjuna was taken to Haridwar, and he sat down on the bank of the Ganga, and he started to chant, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he engaged in Krishna conscious activities, and later on he went back to God. So we don't realize how powerful it is to chant Hare Krishna mantra, and it can defeat even material desires if we're sincere to chant. Prabhupada said dancing is also scientific. So this dancing for Krishna is also scientific. Brings it Prabhupada two-step. And hearing Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, taking prasada. All these things are fun. Lord Chaitanya made it easy in Kali Yuga because Kali Yuga is very difficult. Because it's so difficult, he made it easy and he gave what's called dispensations. Dispensations means he made special arrangements for devotees to easily make spiritual advancements. So in previous ages, if you thought of doing something evil, immediately you got the karmic reaction without doing that evil deed. Just thinking you got the karmic reaction. But in Kali Yuga, if you think of doing something evil, you don't get the karmic reaction. You have to actually do it. So that's one advantage. Another advantage is, previously, if you thought of doing something good, you didn't get the reaction, good reaction. You had to actually do it. In Kali Yuga, you just think of doing something good for Krishna, you get the beneficial karmic reaction or good reaction right away, even if you don't do it. So these are two advantages. Kali Yuga. Third advantage is simply by chanting Hare Krishna, you can be liberated rather easily if you chant without any offenses and any material desires. Number 4, Nahapi Brahmanashtosti Pratijayana Vidike Swabham Apiyasi Dharmasa Jayate Globaya. Whatever you do in Krishna consciousness, it remains an eternal asset. So if you do 1% in this life, next life you begin from 2%, you don't start from 0. So these are special dispensations, or as we say, special advantages of Kali Yuga. And another one is that if you regularly hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, then one by one all your previous sinful activities are eradicated. That's how powerful it is to regularly hear every day Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by genuine devotees. So there are positive things in the Kali Yuga. Why? When Brahma was meditating to find out who he was and what his purpose in life is, he had to meditate 311 trillion 400 million years. It's a pretty long time. Before he heard Krishna's flute and he became illuminated with knowledge, and then Krishna also appeared and explained to him who he actually is, what his purpose in life is, and he gave a vision of Vaikuntha. So that was Brahma. Lord Chaitanya made it easy to tell you. Simply chant, dance, feast, hear Bhagavad Gita, go out on Sankirtan, respect instructions of Guru, and Krishna, and so forth. Very easy. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to do very elaborate pujas or fire sacrifices. So we should take advantage of these advantages, right? And you have to thank Lord Chaitanya. He's the one that made it easy like this. So Besides that, I personally asked Prabhupada once, one morning walk, I said, is it possible to actually become free of sex? He said, yes, but you must chant Hare Krishna. He said, if you keep chanting, eventually it will go away. So I believed him. I'm still here, and I never left the movement. 55 years. There are other devotees like that also, because we're chanting. If you chant and not alone, in the company of other devotees, if you chant alone, you can easily deviate. If you chant in the association of devotees, if you have even a slight bit of deviation, they'll give you a little punch in the back and say, hey, wake up. Don't sleep when you're chanting. Concentrate on chanting Hare Krishna. Okay, sorry. And you have to chant seriously. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. There was this one devotee in France who used to chant. He wasn't even saying Hare Krishna. So that was not proper chanting. You have to say every word so you can hear it. At least you can hear it, or someone next to you, they can hear it also. Now sometimes people say, well, I'm chanting, but my mind is wandering. Okay, then chant louder. So if you chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 yeah. But if your mind is wandering, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Then the wandering mind comes back. But if you chant real low, a little bit tired, see, yogis, they have to keep their eyes half open, half closed. Because if you close your eyes and meditate, your mind should go to sleep. If you open your eyes too much, you get distracted. So they have to keep your eyes half open, half closed. It's not easy to do that. And you have to hold that position for a very long time. See, now let's compare the Mayavad way of making spiritual advancement and the Krishna conscious way of making spiritual advancement. The Mayavadis, their ultimate goal is to meditate 24 hours a day and stop all desires and meditate on either nothingness, which is almost impossible to do, or meditate on one thing, that's the light. Now, does that sound like fun to you? And you have the association of people. And you're doing all this meditation for your personal mukti, not helping other people attain it. So this is what Prabhupada calls the last snare of Maya. There's only one place where there's no bhakti. There's bhakti in hell. There's bhakti in the material world. There's bhakti in Vaikuntha. There's bhakti in Goloka. There's only one place where there's not bhakti. The Brahman effulgence. So it's not surprising that you can fall down from Brahman. First of all, you have to go through a lot of trouble to reach Brahman. You have to deny your individuality. You have to completely reject the whole material world and relationships, mother, father, wife, everything, reject everything. And you have to meditate on nothingness, like Buddhist, or just on the light, like the Mayavada. And you reject also, like Vaikuntha, you reject Goloka. That doesn't sound good. In other words, you rejected everything. And where you're going to go is a place where there's no relationships. See? And and you have to stop your mind from desiring things. So it's all like what you would call severe self limitation. Whereas Krishna consciousness, we don't reject anything. We reject using things for sense gratification, but we don't reject the things. And we learn to use everything in Krishna's service. So that's different than the rejection of the Maya bodies. And we don't reject emotions and feelings. We don't reject happiness and bliss. We encourage it for our personal sense gratification, for pleasing Krishna. But because we are part and parcel of Krishna, Sarvasya Vidi Sanavista. So Krishna is in our heart, and we're part and parcel. Ishvara, Mahakrishna, Satchidananda, Ishvara, Sarvabhutanam, Vidi Sirujut, Ramaya, Sarvabhutani, Yantra Maya. Krishna is in the heart of every living entity, and he is directing our wanderings like on the machine of the material world. The machine of the material world is the body. The body's functioning like a machine. So, but the soul is the real person. It's not the body, and the soul has an eternal relationship with Krishna. So, the most important relationship we can have in this world is our relationship with Krishna. If you build up a relationship with Krishna, then you will know who you really are. If you build up relationships with mundane people, you'll never be able to figure out who you really are. And you'll make many mistakes in this lifetime. So, therefore, whoever has complete faith in Guru and Krishna, those are the two rails, like the railroad. They're parallel rails going back to God. We don't have a monorail. We have railroad, two rails, Guru and Krishna, and now you will go back to God. You have to have faith in Guru and faith in Krishna. So, how can you have faith in Guru? Because you're not supposed to accept the Guru until you're absolutely sure that you can surrender to that person. Well, Krishna is the original Guru, and whoever repeats Krishna's words correctly, they're also Guru. So, if someone says, well, you don't have to read Bhagavad Gita, I'm here. I'll tell you what's true and what's not true. That person is violating the principle of Guru. Therefore, you reject people like that. And you have a right to say the following. If you hear someone giving a lecture, and you can ask a question, where does Krishna say what you just said? That's a legitimate question. You're not being disrespectful by asking a question. And if the person is a real guru, they should be able to show you where that statement comes from in Prabhupada's books. So you have a right to ask a question like that. It's not disrespectful. And if the guru doesn't know the answer, so you give me a day or two, I'll come back with the answer. And I'll look it up somewhere and come back with the answer. So becoming a guru means you strictly follow the regular two principles, and you simply repeat what Prabhupada and the Acharyas and Krishna has said. So you have what's called triangle of verification. Triangle has 3 points. First point, Krishna's words, Bhagavad. And then second point, Acharya's repetition of those initial teachings of Krishna. And then third point is the present Guru, who also validates what the Acharyas have said and what Krishna says and repeats also correctly. Now you can close the triangle and you know that the person speaking to you is actually a real Guru. Now, Bali Maharaj had a problem because his guru said, "Get Vishnu, offer all your sacrifices and everything to Krishna." Now, Krishna appears as Vamanadeva, a dwarf, and he's very beautiful. And he's asking, Bhikshu Dan from Bali Maharaj, who every month was giving charity to Brahmanas. And when he appears, Sukracharya, his guru, said, "Don't give him anything. He is Vishnu, and he's going to take everything away from you. And if he takes everything away from you, how am I going to get my monthly salary for my family?" So you see how money and profit initiative can ruin a spiritual life very easily. We should not have profit initiatives. We should be completely renounced as brahmacharis and simply serve the instructions of Guru and Krishna, and not be interested in building up bank accounts and selling condos in Mayapur or this place or that place and making profit and all that stuff. No, we should be satisfied with a bead bag, a dhoti, and beads, and prashadam. That's it. Sleeping maybe on the floor, whatever. Don't. We should not try and have big houses and cars and all that. Although that's what you're seeing outside. People have big cars and big houses. They also have a big stool. Yeah, they're eating too much, they're passing stool like this. Or they're constipated, they can't get it out, either way. So, no, we're not interested into big time sense gratification. We're interested in pleasing Krishna's senses, not our senses. But our senses belong to Krishna, right? Rishi, Kena, Rishikesh, etc. So, yes. Our senses, our body, our mind, our intelligence, our ego, everything belongs to Krishna. So if we use these instruments, highly, let's say, highly advanced instruments for gathering knowledge to find out about Krishna, then we're using the body correctly. And Krishna will protect us. And as he says, he'll give you the knowledge by which you come here. So knowledge is not studying and passing tests. That's not knowledge. Knowledge is revealed. It's a different system. It's through revelation, not through studying and reading, things like that. Krishna is going to reveal the knowledge to us, just like he revealed to Brahma. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adhikave Muyanti Suraya. Tene Brahma Adhikave. So he revealed the knowledge through Brahma's heart. And he'll do the same thing to you. You don't have to study. All you have to do is hear. Genuine devotees speak the Shruti, the Vedic knowledge, and you'll be illuminated because Krishna will help you now, because he's in your heart. All knowledge comes from Paramatma. And that's why he says, Sarva Sicham Hidi Sanivistu, Matat Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. He says, I am in the heart of every living entity, and from me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Now, why does he say forgetfulness? Because if you are always desiring to have sense gratification, the only way you're going to engage in sense gratification is if you forget Krishna. So therefore, Krishna will help you forget him. You see, you have to be careful. It all depends on what you desire. If you keep desiring material things, Krishna said, okay, I give up. You can't get these thoughts out of your mind. Now I have to help you to get what you want. So he'll help you forget him. Because you have to forget Krishna to do sinful things. Just like there was once a man and a woman doing sense gratification, and someone came up to the man and said, "Oh, excuse me, would you like to come to our Bhagavad Gita class?" He said, "What? What are you doing here? Get out of here! I'm not interested at all. Just get out of here." But he's engaged in sense gratification, and everybody said, "Well, you want to come to a class?" They're not interested at all. Why? Because in order to engage in sense gratification, they have to forget all about Krishna. And you're trying to remind them. You're trying to ask them, "Come to the class." You say, "Get out of here! I'm not interested in all of that." And what are you doing here in the first place? It's a private thing. So you see, whatever we do, we have to have Krishna's help. Whether we want to have sense gratification or whether we want to go back to God. We can't do it on our own. So it's very important that we don't desire the wrong thing, because it just means we're going to get caught by Maya. And let's say this life you just engage in sense gratification. Next life you're going to go back into the animal kingdom, and it could take millions and millions of births and deaths to come back again to the human form. Human form is very rare. You have to go through 8 million species of aquatics, plants, reptiles, bugs, birds, mammals, or beasts to come to the human. You know how long that is? That's like millions and millions. It runs into trillions of years to go through all those births and deaths. And then you waste the human form of life, you go back again, start all over. This is serious stuff, becoming a human being. And we should take it very, very seriously. It's very rare to be in a human body that is capable to understand God. Now, the purpose of the human body is 2 purposes. One is you can engage in sense gratification. That is one purpose of the human body. Second purpose is you can understand your relationship with God, and eventually, or with Krishna, and eventually develop love for Krishna to go back to God. As long as you're interested in sense gratification, you stay in the material world. And it's very difficult. Now, what is the difference between a civilized human being and an uncivilized human being? The uncivilized human beings are not regulated in their habits. They go to sleep at any time they want, they wake up whenever they want. They may bathe, they may not bathe every day. They may eat meat sometimes. They might be a vegetarian for a week or 2. So they're irregulated. You become a human being when you're regulated to understand Krishna consciousness. That means early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wise. So regulated people go to bed early, before 10 o'clock at night, and they wake up in Brahma Muhurta, where they can chant their rounds. The best rounds and the best spiritual advancement is made in the Brahma Muhurta, which is 3 hours before sunrise. If you learn to go to bed early, before 10 o'clock, every minute before 10 o'clock is like 1 hour of sleep. And every minute after 10 o'clock is like a disaster. So it's very important to take rest early and wake up early. That's number 1. It's called lifestyle adjustment for spiritual advancement. And then if you chant your rounds before Mangala Aarti, there's a great chance that those are really good rounds, and it's quiet. There's no telephone ringing. You don't have to go here, go there. You're able to focus on the holy name, and you should focus. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
It's important also to know the meaning of the word. Oh Srimati Radha, you are the internal energy, Radha Shakti of Krishna's love and devotion, personified in this beautiful body, Srimati Radharani, with a golden hue. O Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the possessor of 6 opulences, full, all beauty, all fame, all knowledge, all power, all which isn't full. We might have one or two, but we don't have them in full, which is a few percentage of those things. We might have even a few percentage of all of those things, but it's just, there's always going to be a few percentage points. Krishna has absolute beauty, knowledge, fame, etc. We are coexistent with Krishna as far as eternity is concerned. We are more or less coexistent also, or at least we participate in Krishna's knowledge. Right? But when it comes to bliss, we are definitely not coexistent, because Krishna's bliss and knowledge are increasing all the time. So we can never catch up to his bliss and knowledge, but we can participate in it. That's why he's God. It's unlimited. Unlimited means there's no boundary, unlimited knowledge, unlimited bliss. But we can, up to a certain limit, participate in Krishna's knowledge and bliss. But we are coexistent with Krishna as far as eternity goes. So here we have Krishna is the closest person to us. He's in our heart. If we realize that, we begin our spiritual life. And our spiritual life completely depends on Krishna. So we should accept everything favorable for Krishna consciousness, reject everything unfavorable, and we should accept Krishna as our only protector, and we should accept Krishna as our only maintainer, and we should accept whatever happens, good or bad, as the mercy of Krishna. And we should remain humble and meek in the accomplishment of devotional service. So these are 6 steps of Saranagati, surrender to the Lord. And if we follow these 6 steps, then we'll be happy, we'll be peaceful, and everything will be easy for us because Krishna will make it easy. And just by following Lord Chaitanya's program, everything becomes easy in our life. Okay, so this verse, a person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Now, at the end of every puja or sacrifice, what do people say? Shanti, 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 right? Everybody wants Shanti, because without Shanti, you can't be happy, right? If you're living in a war zone and there's no Shanti, you're not going to be happy at all. You're going to be suffering like anything, right? So therefore, there's a very nice verse in the 2nd chapter. It says, Nastya buddhir ayuktasya chayuktasya bhavam cha vareta shantir asamtasya utastam. Very nice verse. It says, one who is not connected with the Supreme Lord or Krishna, in Krishna consciousness, can have neither transcendental intelligence or a steady mind, without which there's no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? So if you don't have Shanti, you're never going to be happy, and you're not going to have peace of mind. So what is the qualification for Shanti? That is, having buddhi, transcendental intelligence. So transcendental intelligence doesn't mean that you can recite verses. It means that you understand the verse and you actuate the verse in your daily life. That means you have transcendental knowledge. You're actuating the verses by your behavior, by your engagement in devotional service. It's not a theoretical thing. Theory is not practice. It's just it's some little understanding. But when you actually engage in devotional service, then all the theories, now they become facts in your life. Right? So, first qualification is buddhi, transcendental knowledge. And then the second qualification is you're actually connected to Krishna, or dovetail. You dovetail everything. So dovetailing means previously, when in the Middle Ages, even later than that, when the carpenters made furniture, they never used nails and screws. They used a male and female joint, and they put it together. They might have put glue. Sometimes when they were really good carpenters, they didn't even use glue, and it was very hard connection. And those type of house furniture, they lasted for hundreds, sometimes 1,000 years, much more than modern junk furniture. So that's when you connect a male, let's say, cut of wood to a female cut of wood. You don't need glue, you don't need screws, you don't need nails, and it stays a joint very, very long time. That's called dovetailing. So, Prabhupada has told us once that it takes a long time to develop a talent. And if you can use your talent in Krishna consciousness, that is the perfection of your life. So somebody, they might become very expert at singing. So instead of singing nonsense songs, you should sing beautiful bhajans for Krishna. That is the perfection of your talent and your life. So everyone's going to have some talent. And if you use it in Krishna service, that's the perfection of your life. Okay, so Nasti Buddha Ayutasya Chayutasya Bhavana. So one who is not connected with the Lord and who does not have transcendental knowledge, then they'll never become Krishna conscious. So you need buddhi, and you need to be connected to Krishna, and you need transcendental knowledge. And then what happens? Then you can fix your mind in happiness on the Lord. Transcendental form, transcendental pastimes, etc. And then you'll have peace. You'll have shanti. And shanti means now you can be happy because nothing is disturbing your mind. Okay, so the Prabhupada says, unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there's no possibility of peace. So it is confirmed in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad 29 that when one understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer of all good results of sacrifice and penance, that he is the proprietor of all universal manifestations, and that he is the real friend of all living entities, then only can one have real peace. Therefore, if one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Disturbance is due to a want of an ultimate goal. Now, this is psychology. This is real psychology here. We have to have a final goal in our mind. What should that final goal be? I'm going to become the next Elon Musk. No, that's not what the final goal is. You can want that, but it's not going to work. He's not going to have peace. Look at him; he doesn't have any peace. He can't even manage Twitter. How's he going to have peace? Right? So it's just nonsense. You see. So the point is, there cannot be. If one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Why? Because when you're not Krishna conscious, your mind is already wandering. Should I marry her, or should I marry someone? Should I live in India, or should I live in America? Should I buy this car, or should I buy that car? Should I invest in this stock or that stock? Should I live in this temple or move to another temple? This is going on every day in the mind, and you're not able to make your mind up. But if you have one goal, that is to always engage in service for Krishna, then you become sane, then the mind becomes peaceful, then the mind becomes focused. Right? So I'll stop right there. These are different points that brahmacharis should understand. If you understand these points, you'll have shanti, you'll be happy, you won't have hankerings for this thing or that thing. And you won't be like my friend. I met him, we were talking, then I went away. 3 weeks later, I come back and say, my first wife, she doesn't love me. I said, who are you talking about? Well, I met this girl and I'm in love with her and she doesn't love me. In 3 weeks, he went from being a happy guy to being miserable. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, who's this girl? Oh, I met her on the internet and I'm in love with her and she doesn't love me. Look how miserable. Before that, he was a very happy guy. Right? So you have to be very careful. Maya's, you make any little slip, Maya grabs you right away. Be very, very careful. Never do anything without asking your guru, especially big decisions. Should I marry this one or that one? Always ask your guru whenever you're going to make a big, or anything. You should always get permission from a guru. You're not free. When you get initiated, you promise to follow the guru's instructions. So that's very important. Okay, any questions? Okay, then we can all go to sleep now. Yes,
Krishna Maharaj, very enlightening class. Thank you very much for doing like on many wonderful things. Everything is very clear, but maybe it's because of my dull mind, I think so. Just one little clarification, maybe you said that knowledge will be revealed.
what?
Knowledge will be revealed in the heart.
Yes.
So there you said, one statement was only to study. So they just need more clarification on the Prabhupada books.
No, you don't listen and take notes. You don't have to study. It's like, I'm sure you studied many things already in your life, right? How much of that do you remember?
Very little.
Huh?
Very little.
Yeah. So you don't learn by studying, you learn by listening. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. You learn by hearing, just like a child is born. And in 5 years, the child can speak the language of the family. The child didn't go to school. They don't know how to read yet. How come they're speaking the language? Simply by hearing the parents and repeating. What did they do in madrasa schools? They memorized Quran, the whole Quran, and they recited. What did they do in the Sanskrit Tiki classes? Memorize, and you repeat. You hear, you memorize, you repeat. So, just because you memorize verses of what you speak, and you can also ask questions like you just asked the question. Okay. So, reading, you won't really understand much. You'll read something, but you don't really understand much. But you hear the classes, and you ask questions, and if the guru gives you homework, I always give homework, that you have to do the homework and come back to the class and show you did the homework, and then again hear and repeat. So repetition is very important in spiritual life. Some people say, oh, he always says the same thing, chant Hare Krishna. Yeah, yeah, we say the same thing, but every time we say it, we add something that you don't know also, of how to chant, or what the meaning of the mantra is, or the more deeper meaning of the mantra, and history of people who attained freedom by chanting and so forth. So this whole process of Shravan and Kirtan is exciting when you take a real interest in becoming Buddhi, becoming expert in the science of Krishna. And this is all science. This is all these points that you learn in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. They're true in the past, they're true in the present, and they're true in the future. They're true in all realms, the material world and the spiritual world. So you're not learning theories now, you're learning things that are eternally factual. This is real knowledge. Just like Dayato Visham. So that is fact. No one can argue with those two verses. While contemplating objects of senses, one develops attachment. When attachment increases, it becomes lust. And uh, lust is fails, or when lust is there's some obstacle to attaining your lust, you get angry. When there's angry, there's delusion. When there's delusion, there's your memory becomes mixed up. And when the memory is mixed up and confused, you lose intelligence, and then you fall down to material. Now, that was true in the past. It's true today. Would you admit that it's true today?
Yeah.
And it's going to be true in the future also. This is something that is based on laws of material nature. You get attached to something that is false, like the body, the beautiful body of a woman. Actually, that beauty is, like I explained this morning, it's not even 1/8 of an inch. You can put a cut in it and open it up, immediately you lose the attraction because you see what's inside, right? So don't be fooled. Rather, you have to have spiritual vision. You have to be able to understand, even if it's theoretical, that Krishna is in the heart of every living entity. So the primary quality of everything is in every atom of the universe. He's in this microphone right now. He's in this chair right now, right? That's why these things work, right? If nature was chaotic, there would not be any science, because then there would never be any predictability. But nature, even the scientists agree, nature's acting in an orderly way. Now, who made that orderly way? Who made nature orderly? They say nobody. It happened by accident. So they're supposed to be, the rational scientists, right? Actually, they're bogus. They're not scientists. They're not rational. When it comes to understanding how this universe was created and how it's being maintained, they say it happens by accident. But everything they do doesn't happen by accident. And they get Nobel Prizes in their name when they find something. See? If they say everything happens by accident, then why did they get a Nobel Prize? You see. So one time I arranged this meeting with a big bogey philosopher in France, with Srila Prabhupada. And this guy, Jean Herbert was his name. He was the official translator of Aurobindo. He translated Aurobindo first into French, and he became a guru himself in France. So when he met Prabhupada, we arranged this meeting. He bought a book that he had just written. It says, the title of the book was Bhakti the Yoga d'Amour, which means Bhakti, the yoga of love. But in French, the word amour, they have the same word in Spanish also. It has a connotation of sex. So, because in Sanskrit, you have many different words for love, right? But in English and in French, there's only one word for love, and it has to serve for all types of love, like the love between a mother and a son, the love between a man and a woman, the love, like so-called love of illicit sex. They only have one word. So in French, when you say amour, most people think of sex. So anyway, he
जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद श्री गुरु चरण पद्म केवल भक्ति सद्मा श्री गुरु सद्मा बंदो मुहि सावधान मोते बंदो मुहि सावधान मोते बंदो मुहि सावधान मोते बंदो मुहि सावधान मोते जहर प्रसादे भाई ए भबा तुरिया जाए जहर आदे भाई ए भबा तो कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए जहाँ आए ते कृष्ण गुरुमुख पद्म वाक्य ते कुरिया क्या गुरुमुख पद्म वाक्य और ना कोरी हो मने आशा और ना कोरी मने श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व जे प्रसादे जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से उदान चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिल जय जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जाह होइते अविद्या विनाश जते जाह होइते प्रेम भक्ति जाह होइते अविद्या विनाश जते वेद गाय जहर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु गुरु करु सिंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु लोक लोकेर जीवाना लोकना लोकेर जीवाना आह प्रभु करो दया दे हो मोरे पाद छया प्रभु करो दया दे पाद छया आह प्रभु करो दया दे हो मोरे पाद छया प्रभु करो दया दे हम एबे जागु शुक त्रिभुवाना एबे जागु एबे जागु शुक त्रिभुवाना प्रला प्रभु पादोइलो शरण प्रभु पाद जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय गुरुदेवा 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 नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. The lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. Bow down to his lotus feet, great honor and reverence. If one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take the shelter of the lotus feet of our dear Guru Maharaj.